everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Connecting with Jennifer Filzen. Today I have Howard Wolpoff. He and I were actually on his show earlier, and I brought him onto mine, and he's a powerhouse. So I hope you enjoy getting to know Howard. But welcome, Howard. Yay!
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
It's always fun, isn't it? So
Always.
tell the world a little bit about what you do and who you are and where you're at, because we got Jacksonville in common. Yep. So
Yes, you do. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. I am a profit acceleration coach. I work with small business owners who've been working for too long and too hard, who've not seen all the efforts of their business, the results. And really, I guess, part of my life's journey. I've been working in marketing for my entire life. I worked in sports marketing, working for helping with the launch of a minor league baseball team and a huge sports complex in New York City. That's now been 25 years going strong, and national and local radio and advertising agencies running accounts. And now my job is to really help those small business owners whose lives are dependent on their businesses.
yeah, and you're doing great stuff in the world. You know, there are a lot of businesses that need coaching and they don't even realize it, right? They have to be introduced to coaching, usually because they're finally associating with themselves with like a 20 group or a mastermind group, and they're getting coaching that way, or they're reading some business books and realizing, ooh, I need help, or they're just at wit's end and they needed help yesterday, and finally they're signing up for for a coach. What makes you special and unique in the coaching world?
I think it has a lot to do with the types of experiences that I've had. I really have developed a lot of different skills within marketing because of who I am and what I've done. I got excited about marketing when I was in college, not realizing what I was doing, but I was actually developing these events on campus and promoting them and connecting them with charities. And that really got me started. But having real great experiences with launching businesses within sports, a minor league baseball team, a huge sports complex, a college football website, working with digital marketing, handling agency work and running accounts for 2 different agencies. I really have seen it all, and I've really come up with a lot of great ideas and experiences that it really is my life's work that I'm putting into the relationships I'm developing with these owners.
See, that is so cool. Okay. There's so much marketing that can be done, right? There's marketing for small businesses, there's marketing for large businesses, there's marketing for nonprofits, there's marketing for sports teams, and they all have different needs, right? They all have different scopes and an audience. Like, so some brands, they want to be national. A sports team can be local, but also can go national depending on where they're going. You know, how did you fall into this? Were you always a person who was an athlete who was already involved in a team, and then you just were like, hey, I love marketing and I love throwing events, like, why don't we do something together? Or was it something that was more through school? Like, I'm so fascinated how you got into sports.
Well, I've always loved sports. I was a huge sports fan. I grew up in the Bronx. I was a Yankees fan. I had great experiences within that. Just being as part of these different types of sports experiences as a fan. And the things I did in college really was I learned about my work ethic and my focus on, I want something to be bigger and better. Let's come with the idea to make it bigger and better. I was doing a lot of stuff with fraternities and Greek life, and this is where a lot of these ideas and concepts came from. And I didn't realize that time that I was marketing. I was just doing something and trying to make it as good as possible. Again, at that point, dating myself, it was communications was the major. It wasn't marketing. It wasn't advertising. when I left school, I thought, hey, I have a degree. I can get whatever job I want because I have a college degree. I still remember my senior year thinking about changing my major to communications, but I said, nah, have that degree, it'll be fine. And well, it wasn't fine. I took a lot of typing tests at that time to get an admin job, but my first job was with a law firm, testing out to see whether I wanted to be a lawyer, which I did not, which I'm glad that worked out that way. And then I started doing volunteer work so that I can get a job in sports, because that really was my passion. So I was very fortunate. I went to a sports conference that helped you get jobs in sports. I learned two things, two very important things from my career. One, it's very, very hard to get a job in sports because everybody wants it. Everyone's a dime a dozen because you think that, oh, it'd be cool to work in sports. And that New York was going to be hosting the National Hockey League All-Star Game in the winter in February of 1994. Also dating myself. So knowing that, I started to write letters and reach out to people in the National Hockey League so I can volunteer. And so I was able to volunteer, doing all these different, I took a week off from work, all these different events. So just, whenever All-Star games come to the cities, whatever league it is, it's always a full week of events. And I had been booked for some of the, I call it grunt work events for the volunteer jobs. I had to go to the airport and direct people, things like that. But I happened to have hit it off with the head statistician of the league. And he switched my schedule and brought me to the arena. So Madison Square Garden, I'm out giving press, I'm signing up the press to check in and giving them the credentials. I'm running around giving out press notes after the skills competition and helping out after the games with the press conference. So really was a eye-opening experience, and I made some nice relationships through that week. And they contacted me, and also coming to New York was the World Cup, when the United States had the World Cup soccer tournament, and I was able to work the opening ceremonies of the World Cup for them. And then I got some work with the NBA with their Hoop It Up tournaments during the summer. So all of that got me the experience to get my first job, which was as a administrative assistant for this project called Chelsea Pierce, which at the time was a big dream. And since then we opened in '94, late '94, and was a huge sports complex on the West Side Highway in the Hudson River in New York, taking 4 piers and making it into ice rinks and state-of-the-art health club and golf driving range, gymnastics and restaurants and all this. And it was a great experience working there for 5 years, implementing all the businesses and starting myself off for my career, where I'd go in and out of sports a number of different times.
Amazing. Oh my God, what a journey. Okay, so I think you know this about me because we talked about it on your show. I wrote the Give to Get principle book, and you give to get. You volunteered your time, and look at you. You were of service. You brought skills to the table, and the statistician is like, come on over here with me, Howard. I got some stuff for you to do. And here you go. And then you worked with that for 5 years. That's like the coolest thing ever.
That was a great thing.
Love
Very,
it.
very nice man, and really wonderful to have looked upon me the right way those days.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? It's always fascinating. There are the 4 currencies, right? There's money, which most of us talk about in our culture. Then there is time, there's knowledge, and relationships. And of the 4 currencies, which one is the most important? Well, a lot of people would say, well, the money one is the most important. But honestly, relationships are the #1 currency, because those relationships will bring you more time, more knowledge, more money. And yeah, it's always great to be of service, right? So that leads us to the next question. In our lives, we have the various people that we serve. There's our family, there's our community, there's our friends, there's our different groups that we are passionate about. Who is it that you serve in your life?
Well, I absolutely serve my family. I'm very fortunate that I have a wife and 3 children that that when we moved to we got married. We were living in New York, and we moved to Jacksonville, which is where my wife grew up. so we can raise our family here, and to just obviously a very different atmosphere of growing up than in New York City.
Oh, for
Um,
sure, for sure. By the way, which section of Jacksonville is your wife from?
she's from Mandarin, and we live in Mandarin.
Mandarin. Yeah, I was across the river from you in Orange Park. Love
Yep.
Mandarin. Yep, Mandarin's a
So
great
it's
spot. Yep.
and Jacksonville's a hidden gem. People don't realize how when you think of Florida, oh, you think about Miami and Orlando and all that. But Jacksonville has a very different feel to it. It's North Florida. It's the top right corner of the state as you're driving through it on 95. It feels a lot like South Georgia more than Miami. It's not as humid as Miami, and it's just the weather. We have 2 seasons in Jacksonville: February and the rest of the year. And in February it
Okay,
gets a
that's
little bit
funny that you
cold,
said that.
and we'll get little cold spurts here and there. But there was a whole thing a couple years ago. There was 49 states that had snow in, and then there was Florida. We didn't get any. And so people who don't like snow, Florida's fantastic, and it's really the hotbed for golf with being near Ponte Vedra and the World Golf Hall of Fame and the Players Championship. And we have National Football League here with the Jaguars, and minor league sports with baseball and hockey, and Broadway shows that come through, and lots of different other types of cultural experiences. So when everything shut down in March of 2020, the week that we had everything shut down was when Hamilton was finally coming to Jacksonville.
Oh,
So they finally rescheduled. Hamilton came here about a month ago, so we finally got to see the show
good for you.
live, and so it was a very different type of experience with that. So living in Jacksonville has been really great.
Fantastic. So now how long have you been in Jax?
Moved here in 2007.
Gotcha. Okay, okay, so 14 years.
Yeah, it's been
14
a
years,
while.
that's really good. That's a good time. It's really fun. How you described it. There's February and then there's the rest of the year. That's hilarious. So coming from a Jacksonville native, right? The way I would describe the weather, because I never dealt with snow. In fact, I refuse to live anywhere where there's snow. So I can imagine coming from New York, you're like, oh, this is a cakewalk, right?
Yeah.
But for a native, I look at it as the two best seasons in Jacksonville are spring and fall. The rest, totally intolerable. Because like I always thought the summers were just ridiculously hot. And you had to know if you didn't have your own pool, you had to become friends with somebody who had a pool so you could stay cool or have a beach cottage or find somebody that had a beach cottage, right? And then it's funny because I'm out in Monterey, California, and it's cool here year round. We have San Francisco weather. It's foggy and we're wearing, jackets and leather even in the summertime. And the Floridians, they don't believe me until they come out here going, yeah, you're right. It's kind of cold. But it's funny because, your winters in Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Northern Florida, boy, they can get colder than out here on the coast in February and January. It cracks me up.
They can get colder, but one of the things that I've always find different than my life in New York is that it could be 32 degrees, and that's where we have the frost warning, so we have to turn our pipes on so that water doesn't freeze the pipes for that 30-minute, 45-minute period when it gets to that point. But if it's garbage night, I'm going out in a shorts and t-shirt to get the garbage in and out because there's no wind chill. It might be 32, it might be, yeah, it's cold, but growing up in New York, you had that major wind chill and the wind would be blowing, and that's where you really felt it. So it's very, very different.
You're right. And in Florida, you do not have to do anything with your pipes when there's frost. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
that's just a little fear. You just run it dripping a little bit on one. They'll give you the warnings a couple days. Watch out for the frost warning, and you run your pipes, the water just lightly in one sink, and then you're fine. Some people
Really?
cover
You
up their.
do that even though you're in Florida? I've never done
Yeah,
that in my life. That's
they'll,
fascinating.
they'll tell you
I
on TV about that.
I do remember, let's see, it snows so rarely. It's like once a generation, right? And I think it snowed in 1976 or something along those lines. And then again, I was there. Let's see, I was just graduating from Florida Community College at Jacksonville. Now it's called Florida State College at Jacksonville. I guess they're calling it. God, when was that? That was 90,
Yeah, it was somewhere in the late 80s, because they have if you go to the Mosh, which is the Science Museum, they'll have a whole Florida display on the third floor, and as you get to this, there's a big cut, like a ceiling high cutout for the newspaper talking about the snow that shut down the bridges, and they only
Right.
the seven bridges in Jacksonville, for those that don't know, and they had salt enough for one of them, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, which is kind of ironic because we are by the ocean. You would think we would have more salt. But yeah, that was funny. And we could tell everybody who had moved from the north because they had tires and chains, and we were like, what? So yeah, if you want to see, if you want to see North Florida paralyzed, just have a little snowstorm. But you know what we did? My mother and I, we were so excited to like build a snowman. We it was slush and it was like a very, very thin layer of snow, but it was still snow, like,
okay.
and we took such a huge radius in our yard to make a snowman about this big. But we were
We
cracks
had
me up.
that. We visited New York, and we're staying with my sister, and it snowed. It's the first time the kids saw snow, and we were just cleaning up one of our bookshelves. We went through this. We made a whole photo album of that trip, and this is the little snowman that they made, that they're able to play in the snow for the first time. It was the
Isn't
thrill of
that
their life at that
fun?
moment.
Oh my gosh, what a fun experience you're providing for your kids, right? How lucky they have it. Oh, I love it. I love it. So your family, you love your family. Oh my gosh. Are you involved with any well, okay, you said you're involved with the sports teams. I've heard of something in Jacksonville. What is it? The Jumbo Shrimp?
Jumbo Shrimps, it was the Jacksonville Suns for decades, and it
Okay.
changed with a couple of names here and there when different affiliations came through. But a new owner came in, going on almost 6, 7 years at this point. And after that first year, he there's different ways. Having worked in minor league baseball, there's different ways to name the team. You sometimes have a contest, so now it's softened up to five. Here's 5 names. You bring it down, and now you announce the big winner, or you rip off the band-aid. And he surely ripped off the band-aid, because there were a lot of people who, can you change the Suns name? We've known the Suns for the longest time. And having worked in minor league baseball at one of the more active minor league teams, I found the Suns games to be one of the sleepiest experiences I've ever seen. And the sad thing was, it was double A baseball with the Southern League, which unfortunately they redid baseball. So now the minor league changed all the affiliations this past year. Um, that was the most talented league in all of minor leagues, and we get so much great players coming through from the team itself. There's there's Hall of Famers and the Hall of Famers to be that are playing right now that played for the team, but just the whole experience of the game was just slow. And we got this amazing owner who just brings all this different energy. He owns another team in Akron, Ohio, and Jumbo Shrimp. There were 7 teams that renamed their team the same day, and only one got national attention, and it was the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, because
I have
it's
heard
owned with
about the Jumbo Shrimp. I've never seen their games, but I have heard that their games are super fun. What are they doing there at those games that makes it so exciting?
the contests are livelier. The whole concept is family fun. Just a different experience than with the Suns, and they do such a great job of merchandising. So it's
Oh yeah.
always great new T-shirts and hats, and they're making a killing. They're not just here in the stadium and in the city, but around the country. People are buying the Jumbo Shrimp stuff, and that's the way you make it. There's a list that comes out every year. The top 25 hats, and then merchandise. And I remember when we were working with the Brooklyn Cyclones, getting on that list was the best thing, and we were finding people buying our hats and taking pictures from all over the world. And the Jumbo Shrimp within that second year made the list, because they did so much great stuff and a cute little logo that catches people's attention. And it just makes things fun. You still have a couple of bitter people like, oh, I wish they named it the Suns again, but they don't get it. This is how you have fun. That's how you make money in minor league baseball.
And Jumbo Shrimp. Who doesn't love Jumbo Shrimp? I mean, seriously. That's really cool.
The new
That's really,
mascot's name is Scampy.
I'll have to go check them out. They're not doing anything in December when I'm out there, are they? I guess not.
Selling
It's not.
merchandise, but other than that, no. No.
Okay. All right.
They'll come back in April.
Okay, I'll have to wait till I'm out again. I'll be out visiting you guys first half of December, so perhaps we can do a meetup.
Very nice, absolutely.
That would be super fun, super super fun. Cool. So now we all have a why. I don't know if you study Simon Sinek. He did a TED talk on finding your why, and I just really am enamored with him. And a lot of what we do at Rockstar Marketing is finding somebody's why, because that makes the story of their business and their purpose so much more compelling. Because if you don't infuse the why in there, you look like everybody else, right? But we all have a why, and some of us know it and some of us don't. Sometimes it's a divinely inspired thing. Sometimes it's as simple as I got to put food on the table, and my why is to make sure that those kids don't go hungry, right? We all have it in various degrees. What is your why?
Well, something's covered in a lot of what you said. Making sure my family is protected and fed and getting to do the opportunities every time I turn around, there's yet another activity my kids are doing and have to pay for. We had to change a battery out in a car today, so that's a lot of the whys that I cover. But a lot of it's my purpose and being able to accomplish things. I've been since launching this business, and then really getting involved more with podcasting and different pieces to it. I gave a master class today for a national networking group that I'm part of, and I said the topic was podcasting for what's the word I used, prospects, and just teaching how to be a guest and to be a podcast host to generate prospects and generate business. I posted a new one today, but it's 66 podcasts, and I do this, and where we met is my second incarnation of an online TV portal host. So we have there's a website called dailyadbrief.com, and I meet with amazing marketing executives from around the country, and I do a 5 to 10 minute interview with them. And I was doing it in this earlier incarnation called Buzz TV with things local in Jacksonville with small business owners. But between the two of them, I've done almost 200 interviews on quote unquote television through online mediums, and it's given me an opportunity to really have fun, show people who I am, and get a real chance to expose myself a little bit in the marketing world. And the more opportunities I get to do things like that, the more I feel accomplished. So it's all, I mean, when you get I guess a little bit older and your career has developed, you look at your I think there's the trophy case, the real physical trophies that you've won awards for, and I guess the mental trophy case, the experiences, the things that happened, the things that you've accomplished. I one of my proudest accomplishments in all of my working days was putting on a sponsorship with TV Land at a minor league baseball game, and it was honeymooners night. We were celebrating the honeymooners because they were from Brooklyn. We had all these different plans. The woman, the actress who played Trixie, was coming to the ballpark. We were going to do the Hucklebuck dance contest, all these things. And I put out a press release, and I got it into probably 100 newspapers around the country. It was the right timing. It was the story. It was the TV. And it rained and rained and rained. The game didn't happen. But I got into 100 newspapers around the country that it did. So
Wow.
those wins out there, and you take them.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You're right. You're right. And what you're doing, gosh, okay, there's a lot to unpack here. First off, isn't it fascinating when you think about it that back when we were kids, you and I, if you wanted to be on TV, you had to go through some serious channels in order, and not just TV channels. I'm talking like agents and auditions, and it was not like, hey, I just want to be on television. Like you had to like figure out who to talk to, it was just not something that the average person could do. And
Not at
here we
all.
are, 2021, the internet and social 3.0 is where anybody who wants to can be their own TV personality. Is that awesome or what?
It's incredible. It's incredible, all the changes and all the opportunities that are the things you're able to do, and the things that are simple to create a video and to edit it and put it out there. Looking back at what that would feel like in 1975 and 1985 is a whole different animal. And now it's you can do it quickly in 5-10 minutes, and it's up there and done.
Exactly. And it's so cool how decentralized it is, right? So now we can create our own content. Then we've got the other challenge, right? When you were on those major networks, you were guaranteed some eyeballs because what? When I was a kid growing up in Orange Park in the 1970s, there were four major channels: ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS, right?
Yep.
And then of course cable would come into play, and we'd have more channels, and then the Fox networks and the CNNs and it's really grown. But we all would stand around the water cooler equivalent and talk about the same shows because we were all watching the same thing. Now it's just so diverse. And I don't know about you, I don't even have a regular television. I just look on YouTube when my husband and I are eating dinner. We'll go tubing, and we'll find out what on demand, based off of our algorithms and previous watch history, will come up into our feed. And it is really fascinating. So here it is, yay, it's decentralized. Here we are able to do something super cool in the 21st century, but yet we have to find the audience that will watch, because again, it's not every eyeball. It's now very niche oriented. So the other thing I'm really fascinated with you about is that you are doing this business coaching, you're helping others. So, here you are, you've got your daily ad brief. That's super awesome. And you're bringing in other people who are in marketing to not only talk about what you know, but also add to the value that the people are watching. Are you finding that you're getting a lot more coaching clients because of the value that you bring online in teaching people about marketing?
I see it developing. I won't say it's the doors being knocked on a regular basis, but which would be wonderful, and there's room at the door to knock. But yeah, I'm seeing, because I started this. We're doing like in 8-week segments. I just finished my 8th week of doing it, and I'm getting out a video, posting a video probably 4 times a week, and the daily ad brief posts them up. So it's just still taking time to get that message out, that they're up there, and the content that I'm providing. And I learned a lot with the algorithm, especially the LinkedIn algorithms. Last week, that I just posted an interview today, which was with a woman who used to work for LinkedIn, who now runs a business to teach people about LinkedIn. So she taught me a lot, and I changed a lot of things after our conversation. Now I want to see how that plays into what I'm doing, because there were some little fun shortcuts that I was trying, and it would work, and sometimes it would backfire, and so you got to be very careful. And she said, "Oh, they're looking for that. Don't they won't just suspend your account. They will pull your account." So that's it. So it's I was working with some pods, so you can post something up and you can get some more exposure on your post and start to boost it up through the algorithm by doing that. So they're natural pods and unnatural pods. This one was more of an unnatural pod. So the
Interesting.
numbers would explode, but it wasn't really, I wasn't getting the results I want. And then I was also making comments on people's pages automatically, the things I wouldn't usually say. So there was a comfort level that I was concerned about to begin with. But
Got
but I'm fielding a lot of different types of questions, because I'm really am I'm having different types of conversations on these videos, and that's what I enjoy, because I get to have conversations with people from all over the country who do the same thing, have the same love that I do, and then I connect with them on LinkedIn, and the conversation can continue, and I'm building a whole different type of network over the course of the last 8 weeks than I had even before I started doing that.
Amazing, isn't it? That's so cool. That's so cool. So it sounds like LinkedIn is your favorite network of choice at this moment, right? What is it about LinkedIn that has you really energized, and why are you focusing on LinkedIn?
I like LinkedIn because it really is about business. Everything else has there's much more social or family focus. I joked that I posted a video and I got some nice coverage on the videos, some nice likes, some nice comments. I was satisfied. But in the same week, like a week or two ago, was my daughter's 11th birthday, and I took and Facebook will give you the highlights of what else you posted that day in the history. So I went back and grabbed all those photos and put them back up as one post to celebrate her birthday, and it exploded. 100 likes and all the 57 comments, and which was fantastic. It was heartwarming. I loved it. But I had a really good video a couple of days ago as well that you easily could have done the same exact thing for. So
Oh,
it's
it's so true. Kids and pets, they will always they will
although
always outperform that really cool video that you put together.
although there were on LinkedIn, and this was crazy, and of course I had to save it and show my family. My middle son loves elephants, and someone put up a video on LinkedIn, which was an elephant in the wild, and they brought the elephant an easel and you know where I'm going with this, and
Paint in the trunk. Yeah,
a
paint
brush
a picture.
in his trunk, and he painted an elephant. I thought that was the craziest thing. And that did make me, it was a nice add to my day when I was doing that. And I had to save it and I had to show it to my son yesterday.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's amazing what content we can get. It can inspire you. It can scare you. It can teach you. It's always fun. Whenever I'm doing social media posts, I always follow the formula of the 3 E's. And then after I've done the 3 E's, then I'll send them to the client's website. So something engaging, something educational, something entertaining about the industry or the service or that lifestyle or whatever it is that we're promoting. And then after we've built the trust with the viewers of the educational, entertaining, and engaging, then you have earned the right to ask them, hey, go check out our website and do this thing or sign up for this. But if you're constantly spamming them, it's like, oh, please, I feel like taking a shower after getting spammed,
And
right?
that's the one thing about LinkedIn where it was years ago, not so many years ago, the strat it was like a 5-point strategy of connecting with a possible prospect on LinkedIn. Connect
Yes.
with them,
Remember those
have a
days? Well,
light
chase them down, hunt
conversation,
them like a dog.
follow up with that. So it was a 4 or 5 little conversations before you do the pitch. Now, boom, the pitch is part of the connection, especially if it's about Bitcoin, or as soon as I've accepted, I'll accept people for many different reasons. And my strategy against it is that I have something called Bomb, where you can embed videos into Google emails, but I also can take that same video as a link, put it into the messenger in LinkedIn, and it shows up as a video, but it's as a GIF. So I get 3 seconds of me talking. So sometimes it'll be just me talking. Sometimes I have I have a whiteboard where I'll write their name on it, and the hi Jennifer. So you see that it's I'm really talking to you. And but I have an intro video to thank you for connecting with me on LinkedIn. And if you want to actually discuss further, here's a link for a 15-minute Zoom conversation. You can click right here off the video and book something. So some people write comments, some people book conversations, and it kind of deflects a little bit from the people just trying to directly sell me. But people do anyway.
That's pretty clever because I tell you what, I was an early adopter of LinkedIn, and I always am adding people to it, but it's like, hi, buy for me, buy for me. It's like, oh my God, please. Like, will someone teach these salespeople? Knock it off. That's not how you approach people.
I'm doing something now, and I was one of the first 50,000 people on LinkedIn, just as a fluke, back in 2003.
Wow.
And as I pulled I started this like a year ago and I stopped, and it was a huge mistake. If I look at my biggest mistakes of the year, why I stopped doing this, I don't know. because there's a no-lose situation. So I went back and I got everyone in order of who I've connected with. Number one, number two, up to I think I'm 7,000 connections on LinkedIn, something like that. So I'm starting at the bottom, and I have a note that I pretty much is just copying and pasting in, saying, hey, I've made this resolution to myself that I really want to reconnect with the people that I've connected to on LinkedIn. Going back to when we connected, you are actually the 58th person I've connected with on LinkedIn. Just how are you, and how's your family been over the course of this period? And I started doing it. If I went back to it like Thursday, Friday, I've gotten some very nice responses from it. A lot of people have ignored it as well, or just don't look on LinkedIn the way I might with my message box there. And we'll see what happens from that. But if there's someone who is a real prospect for me, that's the way to start a conversation, not pitch, pitch, pitch.
Oh, that is so great, Howard, because you're right. Like, yeah, I would love, and you're right. I have, in fact, a few weeks ago, I think I was trying to reconnect with an old boss of mine. And he, I think I reached out, and he's like, hey, so and then something came up with a health issue. I think his mother-in-law was in the hospital or something. We haven't been able to connect, but it was like, hey, and I do remember saying something in a message to him like, hey, I think you'd be really proud of me where I'm at right now. And he's like, honey, I was proud of you when you quit the job that we were working together. So it is interesting how remember back in the day it was like you had pen pals. Well, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, even TikTok, they're all some form of an online pen pal, right? Or in the case of some people, an online dating site. Like, I cannot believe how many people think that Instagram and TikTok are a dating thing, and they're like, hey, beautiful. It's like, will you knock it off?
Yeah, a lot of these can be misused. I'll put that all in
Oh,
that category. But
oh, yeah,
I find it amazing. I look at my kids now and their relationships, and the people who they're connecting with, who they interact with now, will most probably be people they interact with the rest of their lives. We had a situation where we went to preschool and we went to elementary school, and the people we interacted with, and then for a long period of time, they just didn't exist anymore. There was certain few that stayed in, and now because of Facebook and everyone connecting, I know what's going on. I know which of my classmates have grandchildren, and which of my classmates are doing X, Y, and Z,
exactly.
and ran the marathon, and which is phenomenal, which is great. I have one classmate that's a huge rock star in Israel. I'm able to track what she's doing on Instagram, and one that he's written books and now has like his third TV show on it's on HBO Max right now. No, Apple TV. The C show is his right now. So
Nice.
it's amazing the things that I would never have known had social media not existed.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Gosh, high school reunions, right? I'm sure your wife can attest to this. It's like really the reunion is organized and pretty much happens on Facebook. And then the party itself is like the final get together face to face after all these years. But like, yeah, it's because of the high school reunions. That is how I reconnected with so many high school friends, and it really is great cheering them on, and also too, like mourning with them as they lose their moms. Like, it's a fascinating tool and a great way to establish the connections. But then also too, a lot of people say, well, these relationships aren't real. Like, I remembered when I was starting off doing social media, and I was getting a lot of friends because of course I was a pioneer in doing social media back in 2007, 2008, 2009, really, getting into it, where a lot of people were like, oh, this is a fad. And I'll never forget, like, even to this day, some people will be like, oh, you're friends with so and so. How do you know so and so? I'm like, honey, I'm a professional marketer. It's my job to know everybody. Like, but I don't really know them unless I really know them. And I'll let you know if I really know them. But I'm not going to mislead you saying, oh, yeah, I'm best friends with. That doesn't happen. Oh, that's so cool. So
I have
now,
that with the baseball players. I'm connected to a ton of baseball players I know from my days with the Brooklyn Cyclones. And
nice.
am I friendly with them on a day-to-day basis? No. Did I have some really nice moments with them when they were on the team, when I was working on the team? I wasn't hanging out in the locker room, but I'd speak to them on the field during practice, and we got to know each other. But my son had to do a science. There was a big science fair in seventh grade, and everyone had to get all these surveys done. So I'm reaching out to people on Facebook to do the survey. My son was the only one with someone who has a World Series ring that filled out their survey, because the one guy who was with the 2004 Red Sox, is one of their broadcasters, is friendly enough with me to respond and did the survey. And it was the 20th anniversary of the Cyclones, and I had a lot of interactions with some of these guys that on a daily basis I never get to speak to, or we don't reach out to each other. But when there's a moment, you take advantage of that moment, and that's something special.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Well, gosh, you bring so much to the table, Howard. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad that you're on here with me. What advice do you have for people? I mean, there's so much you can take, that you can take this in any direction you want, but what advice do you want to share?
I think it's funny. I have these different baseball quotes going through my head because there's something I
Totally,
came up
rock with it. Yeah,
with
go for
Yogi
it.
Berra, someone earlier in the day. Yogi Berra was famous for saying a lot of different things. Some that made a tremendous amount of sense, some that made no sense, some that were so philosophical, but that was not his intent when he said them. But he had the one statement: "When you come to a fork in the road, take it." That can mean absolutely nothing, but that also can mean, if you really want to start digging deep into it, is that there's lots of different turns in life. There's lots of different roads, and is there a need to have a road not taken? What it's I've always wondered what happens. I think there was a movie that I just remember, the Sliding Doors, I think it was called. It's like, so if you go take one door, your life goes one way. If you take another door, life goes a different way, and you have to keep moving. It's like, I remember, had my grades been a little bit better in college, would I actually have my 3 children I have right now? Would my life have changed in different ways, because and not led me into where I am right now? You never know, but you take the door that's in front of you, you make the most of it, and you try to make life better for you and those around you as you're going through it. I think that's where, when an opportunity has come my way, I've tried to pick up the ball and run as much as possible, to be the best team player I can be, to be the jack of all trades, to cover all these different pieces. That's why I think it was a great experience for me to be on not just one, but three launches of businesses and startups, but they weren't, well, one was, I said they weren't going to be .com, but yes, one was a .com, one was a website for college football, but a minor league baseball team in a huge sports complex, and just being able to do so many different things, sometimes all at the same time, was where I thrive and really enjoy life in doing that. So I look back and cherish the moments that I had. Again, it's I guess my virtual trophy shelf of achievements, and try to figure out what's the next one that's going to go on the shelf.
Nice. Good for you. Well, I wish you many, many virtual as well as real trophies. I get what you're saying. I love that analogy, because we all have these great milestones. And it's so easy to look at somebody's A reel and see all the victories, and it's all nicely spliced and edited into like 2 minutes, and it's like, oh, this person is just absolutely. But what's the phrase? You work 10 years tirelessly to become an overnight success. you know and in order for those things to really matter, you have to go through the struggle, because it might be a beautiful A reel, but there's a B reel and a C reel, and the reel that's on the floor, and no one wants to see it.
I look at the top achievements from my elementary school class. My one writer friend, who he wrote, I think he's published 6 books, has 3 TV series that have been on cable, and 1 movie. But you'd think, how many times was he turned down on these things? How many books did he did it for? It was the first book that hit. Was that actually the first book? Was there something else? There's a lot of things that have not happened successfully within that career to then you see to see what the resume is with what he has succeeded on, and everyone else in their businesses. You look at, you don't look at the the clients that's the prospects that said no that didn't become a client. You look at the ones that said yes and achieve things when you look at the bigger picture. You can't, again, you can't look back at the what ifs you could have done with someone that said no. They said no, and there was the sales concept. It's a favor to you because you got your time back. You don't have to worry about that person anymore. You move on to the next one, and hopefully something else benefits from it.
Oh, so true. So if people want to get a hold of you because they want to connect with you and learn more about marketing or get some business coaching, how do they get a hold of Howard Wolpoff?
My website is profitmasterbusinesssolutions.com, all one word together.
Profitmasterbusinesssolutions.com.
And if you want to check out my interviews with people as wonderful as Jennifer and the other marketing experts, I'm on dailyadbrief.com. And if you go to shows, Marketing Champions is the show that I host.
.com, Marketing Champions. Yeah, there's some really top talent on there. Yeah.
I've been really excited to see the type of people that I've been speaking to in overall is the 8 weeks. But in the last couple of weeks, I've had some real surprises when I look up to see who I'm speaking to. It's been great.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I really would love to see you when I'm in Jacksonville from the 1st of December through the 15th. And
Okay.
then there's the other guy over at Daily Ad Brief. Help me remember his name.
Mike White.
That's it. Yeah, we also wanted to connect when I was there. So let's get together. That would be super fun. Maybe coffee, maybe lunch, something like that would be super fun. Where are you guys? Are you working out of your homes when you're doing these podcasts?
It works out of the agency that he had owned, and there's a number of different projects out of that building. But we're in San Marco. So as you go through the I guess the main square of San Marco, and you're driving towards the hospitals, it's on that strip before you get to the to I-95 and the hospitals.
San Marco is the cutest section of Jacksonville. Well, there's a lot of cute sections, but San Marco has always just been really adorable. Beaches, of course, but beaches were always like their own thing, right?
Yeah, beaches are different, but San Marco and Avondale are kind of I guess the similar pieces of the like. But then obviously everything that happens now at the whole town center area, which is really just exploded.
Oh yeah, that town center. Oh my gosh, you're right. There's some great restaurants.
Restaurants, all the stores. It's really harmed the malls because everyone's been there. So they got out of their leases the malls, and they find locations out on the strip there at the town center.
Yeah, that's right. The shopping there is epic, and the restaurants. Let's see, Fogo de Chao, Brazilian restaurant. Love that place. There's a sushi ramen place. Gosh, Nogu.
I'm
I'll have to
not
look it up.
sure.
I can't
I know
remember. I can see it.
they
I
just
can see
multiply.
it in my,
I can't even keep track anymore.
yeah, right. I can see it in my head, and the food was dang good. But no, okay. So we'll connect. That'll be super fun. Okay, so everybody who wants to connect with Howard, go to profitmasterbusinesssolutions.com. We'll put a link in. And then also to dailyadbrief.com really is a great place to find 10-minute snippets of some really great marketing advice. And then, yeah, if you own a business, I really do hope that you will get yourself a coach. I don't know about you, Howard, but like I bought in early on wanting to get business coaches because I knew that I didn't know what I didn't know. And it's always better to have someone reach out their hand and take you down the path that they've already been down, right? We scale faster when we're with people who've been there before. It's like going to a foreign country with a friend who's from there, right? Or for, if I wanted to go to New York, I'd be like, hey, Howard, can I go with you? Because like, I don't know New York, but you're like, oh, let me show you around, right? And that's what business coaches do.
A lot of it is that most business owners got into the business because there's something they were excited about doing and being a part of. And most of them, I don't want to say all, didn't really have the full training of what being a business owner is all about and how to market your business. And they got started, and the foundation of the business are based on the first few sales that they've made. But it can, once things start to get a little rickety and fall apart, you don't have that knowledge to fall back on. So trudging on through by yourself is not the best way to do it. Sometimes you need the right guidance to help you, and some of it's easy. A lot of my main strategies that I bring to the table are things that most people know, but if you really never learned simple concepts, you don't know. And I bring in recurring annual revenue for some really simple ideas before I get to know you better. And now I know what really needs to be implemented into the business, and then we get things rolling.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Thank you so very much. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed meeting Howard and hearing some of his awesome wisdom. And yes, go check out Jumbo Shrimp, the minor league team for baseball in Jacksonville. I'll probably go try to get myself to a game because I'm not really a sports person, but that just sounds like so much fun. I don't want to miss out on a
It really
party.
is.
All right, everybody. Thank you so very much. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.